Off the Record, a radio playlist where I help you discover new artists and new music. I'm gonna be honest, this is a very selfish segment. I'm here with Yonah, who released probably one of my favorite albums to come out this year, Bird of Miracles. Dude, how are you doing?
Oh man, I'm doing good. Thank you so much.
No,
Thank you
I'm
for having
I'm
me.
I've been telling you, I've been excited for this Yap session. I always like to start by asking about musical influences. And the way I format the question is a little different than how most people perceive it, but I'm very curious, who are your musical influences growing up? Not so much like the artists you were discovering, but who was playing music around you and what do you remember them playing?
Hmm. So honestly, I didn't grow up around so much music. Like I don't remember listening to more than two records. I grew up with my mom, and we had this little green Subaru Outback that was my great grandmother's like gardening car that she used upstate New
Wow.
York. And we had a little cassette player, and we had two cassettes that we'd rotate. One was Freewheelin' by Bob Dylan, and the other one was Songs in the Attic by Billy Joel. And honestly, like the record that I put out has a lot to do with those cassettes. Like
Yeah.
to me, those are like my musical roots. And it's nice that it's not so much music. I feel like there's a lot nowadays, and I find it
Yeah.
hard to like pick where I land in the modern music sphere. But it's easy looking back and being like, that is my foundation. Um, and then as like I got more into music, I started listening to Joni Mitchell, Elliott Smith,
Mm.
like kind of staying in that guitar songwriting, guitar piano songwriting era. Um, yeah.
That answer makes so much sense hearing you say that. But so at the same time, it's so interesting because you're from the city, yet you grew up with these like artists and their influences were very grounded for a place that's so hustle and bustle. That's really interesting.
I'm definitely like a nature boy at heart. I don't connect much to the city life, nor
Really.
do I like claim it as my own. I mean, I'm a proud New Yorker, but I hope to be in the mountains one day. Um, Soon enough, I hope.
I love that. Well, let's talk a little bit about your writing process. I'm really curious, what was it like putting this project together? How long did that time kind of span?
So I guess the production of the album started before the entire thing was finished.
Mhm.
But I initially had like a collection of maybe 15 or 20 songs that I had written on my acoustic guitar. Just me, myself, and I in my bedroom mostly. And I had like a total of 7 or 8 songs that I knew I wanted to turn into a project.
Yeah.
And I had recorded one song with my buddy Harper James. He's a Brooklyn producer legend. Shout out Harper.
Mhm.
And he honestly was like my day one supporter. Both Harper and my friend Zach, who I work with also. But Harper and I made this record together, and I approached him with a bunch of the songs, and I was like, "Hey, like, do you have the time for this? Like, what can we do here?" And he cut me a great deal and was like, "I'm down to produce this thing for you. Like, however long it takes, like, let's do it." And I'm pretty sure that was in the middle of 2024, like the summer of
Wow.
2024. And it took us 2 years. And like the last three songs of the project kind of found themselves like Desert Horse. I wrote in the studio with him pretty much. Like I wrote the riff
Yeah.
just like sitting down in between like recording another song. Um, Family Dinner I wrote on my own. Like this past summer, we had 10 songs already, and I knew I wanted one more. And that one was like the perfect closing, I think,
Yeah.
to the chapter. Um, but yeah, most of the songs are like the first songs that I wrote on guitar, and just trying to capture kind of the youthfulness of them and
Mhm.
maintain like their raw senses, I guess, throughout the recording process was the biggest focus.
Yeah. What was it like putting the production together and where did you draw a lot of influence from for that?
Honestly, like I can't call on an outside influence for the production other than Harper. Like it really feels when I listen back to it like a two-man band, and like both of our styles are what shaped the record.
Yeah.
I played most of the guitar parts and most of the piano and synthy stuff, and Harper did all the drums and bass. He plays the harmonica on the record. He plays some electric parts, and yeah, it was kind of just like a jam session every time we recorded, other than
Yeah.
like the foundational guitar and vocals, which I came like ready to record. Everything else was just studio made, and a lot of what we first came up with in the studio is what is on the record.
Mhm.
Like most days, like Harper hadn't heard the song until I like brought it into him that day. We recorded it and just recorded stuff over it, like kind of improv-y,
Yeah.
no composition or much thought beforehand, to be
That's
honest.
cool.
Um, which looking back, I think like for the next record and future stuff, like there is a beauty to focusing more. Like I listen
Yeah.
to some of the songs and I'm like, damn, this feels pretty sporadic and like manic at times.
Mm.
But I like that. And for like my first record, that felt like me then.
Mhm.
Like I had less care for perfection through the process, and Harper kind of let me do that without being like, wait, let's go back and re-record this and make sure that vocal is perfect. Like there's barely any auto tune on the project.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that was
Is
a
there a
long-winded
lyric or
answer.
line from the project? No, it was great. Is there a lyric or line from the project that you come back to often?
Hmm. Okay, I think of lyrically Bug's Blood, I think is my favorite song on the project. Um, and I smoke weed, and on that in that song I say that I think that time is a drug and everybody's stoned, and I think that's me just like trauma dumping my own issues with weed on
Yeah.
the world. And I think about that line a lot. Like that line just hits for me. And it feels timeless to myself.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I'm trying to think if there are other ones, but that the whole song is a story about feeling really small. And I think for a lot of my songs, I have more of like how do I articulate this? Like my thought process is a little bit more like a wave, and it's felt through the song, where it's
Yeah.
like at the end, if it's more like a diary entry more than like a story.
Yeah.
But that song like feels like a contained story, and whenever I finish a song and feel that way, like that is the most rewarding feeling ever. And I had that after writing that song. Um, I think that's the one that I cherish the most.
Yeah. What does your writing process look like? Is it like the notes app situation, or is it something that like you sit down and carve out time for?
I'm a heavy Notes app user, which I'm like kind of ashamed to say, but it's so accessible, and I don't know when I'm gonna write a song. Usually, rarely do I sit down and force it out. I kind of just
Yeah.
stumble on it because I'm constantly playing guitar. Um, and usually like I'll write something on the guitar before I think
Yeah.
of now it's time to write or sing. Um, so I just always have the thing on me, and I whip it out when the time's right.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I wish I was a pen and paper man. I think that's it's a little more.
Kinda like Taylor Swift rooted, like how she writes with a quill.
Ugh, my handwriting is garbage though. Like that's probably the bigger problem is when I actually try, I go back and I can't read what I wrote. Um, but when I work at a camp over the
Oh,
summers in Colorado, and we're in the mountains for a month and a half. And when I'm in nature or when I'm traveling, it comes natural to me. Like I always keep a notebook with me and I start
yeah.
writing to pen. And I don't know what the effect is on the words. Like I don't know if it's better, but it does feel more like musical.
I get
And
it.
I feel more in touch with the words when they're physical. But I'm only inspired to do that when I'm out of the city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you writing for other artists right now?
I am. I am writing with this band, Late Night Thoughts.
Okay.
Shout out Late Night Thoughts. My homie Michael, actually, I met at this summer camp. He okay, little story time. I
Let's do
basically
it.
grew up going to this camp for 5 years. Um, talking about my nature boy senses. This very much fulfilled them. My mom heard about this camp from a family friend, and it was my haven growing up. Um, and I hadn't gone back for about 10 years until last summer, where I finally had like a summer free to do what I wanted.
Yeah.
And I like emailed the director and was like, "Hey, I'm looking into jobs this summer. Like, what do you guys have?" And he was like, "We would love to have you here." Offered me a job being a counselor, like in a bunk. And so for the first month, I was living in the bunk with like 20 kids.
Wow.
And or no, it was like 15 kids. Um, but they found out that I played guitar. And so for the second half, they hired me to be like a music teacher. So my job
That's so
switched
cool.
and I ended up being like I was the guitar guy, playing all the camp songs, and I got to teach classes to the kids, and it was so fun. And I'm going back this summer. They hired me again, thankfully. Um, yeah, what was the question? I totally lost the question.
No, you're good. I was asking if you write for other artists, but I love this like the segue we've gone into. You were
Oh,
kind of talking about how you met your friend.
that's the segue. So growing up, Michael was the music director, and when I went back, we started playing together because he came back basically to teach the songs that he had written for the
Mhm.
program because he created the whole spiel. And we got along really well, and we jammed together. And he lives in New York, in Brooklyn, also. And so when I got back, we stayed in touch. And his band recently started popping off, and he's allowed me to join them for a couple sessions. They've come over,
Wow.
and I helped them record a couple demos. And a few weeks ago, we had our first write together, which was very fun. Um, at the moment, I'm not writing for anyone else other than
Mhm.
for future projects for myself. Um, but it's definitely something that I've done a lot in the past, and I want to do a lot more with.
Yeah,
Oh, also, I more like produce for other artists.
got
Like
it.
I just produced an EP for my friend Judah. Shout out Judah. He has been my videographer for all my projects, and he takes all my pictures. He's one of my best friends, and we have a very awesome, like, artistic, collaborative
That's so
sharing
cool.
process. Like, he films for me, I produce for him, and we made an EP together that's going to come out soon. And I produced an EP for my friend Ari. His artist name is Alnev. Shout out Alnev. Oh, I think
Yeah, I totally know this guy.
maybe you know him. Um, did have you guys spoken before?
Yeah, I just posted about him maybe like a couple weeks ago.
Oh, no way. Okay, there it is. Yeah, he's the best. I helped produce his last EP. Um, yeah, I think my collaborative process kind of ebbs and flows with
Got
how
it.
much focus I'm giving to my own project.
Mm,
But I really enjoy it, and
yeah.
I hope to do more of it. Yeah,
What are you hoping people take away from the project as a whole?
big question. I don't know. Um, I think I'd be happy if anyone took away anything from it, honestly.
Really?
Like, I don't think that's for me to decide. Um, I think there have been times where I've listened to it and cried, and there have been times where I've listened to it and gotten goosebumps, and there have been times where I've listened to it and fucking hated it. Um, and like, if it can evoke any like of those, I guess, like, radical feelings or just
Yeah.
strong feeling, like, that's what I want. It's not like a passive listen, I think. Um,
No, absolutely not.
and so if people have the focus for it and can listen through and think about anything, like, I've done my job. Um, but to me, the stories are very much my own and
Yeah,
open to interpretation. Um, and I hope that people interpret it their own way. Yeah.
that's good. I like that. That's a good answer. If this album was to score like any TV show or any movie, where would you throw
Oh,
it?
that's a good question. Ugh, I feel like perks of being a wallflower.
That's a good one.
I want to say like call me by your name, but that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, no, that's not crazy. I don't know if you remember the unplugged post I did about you for what song was it? I can't remember off the top of my head, but like it reminded me a lot of that like mystery of love, like kind of energy. It was very nostalgic.
Yes, I remember the Soup John shout out.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, there's a nostalgia to it and like a coming of ageness that I don't know. And it would be in a retro film.
yeah. Well, it's time for my favorite question. I asked you to bring three songs from three other artists, and feel free to elaborate a little bit on why you chose these.
Okay, should I run it back?
Yeah, let's go with number one.
Okay, so for number one, I would choose Pale Horse by Truman Sinclair. Um, Honestly, that song has been on repeat for me ever since he released ever since he released it. Um, I think the EP is called Pale Horse also, or maybe Pale Moon. But he rocks. He's one of my bigger new influences. I love the mix on the song. I think he recorded it. The drums sound like they're on like one microphone, and it's just the perfect indie rock picture. I love the riffs on it, and that song inspired at least the song "Showdown" on my record.
Yeah.
Um, for the second song, I would say "Kiss Me Again" by Babe City. Um, I actually recently befriended the guitarist of the band and producer. Shout out Theo. Um, they're my favorite local band right now. Their
You guys
music is
ever heard
so
them?
good. I'll send you it after. But it's the most like jovial production and really awesome guitar parts. Very reminiscent of, it's very much what I want to make now. The last song I would say, oh, this is the unreleased song.
Okay.
I found this guy on TikTok like 2 months ago. His name's Sterling Gavinsky, and he's about to put out this song called "Hey." Um, and I've been eagerly awaiting. He's been posting about it like every single day, playing it somewhere else, and I respect the grind so much. And the song rips. And I'm very excited for that one to come out. But yeah, Truman Sinclair, Babe City, Sterling Gavinsky, new peeps. Check them out.
We love a good TikTok find. Isn't that like the best feeling in the world?
Honestly, yeah. Like when you find someone on TikTok who you feel like is beyond the scope of the app and like
Yeah,
actually pulls you into their world, it's a beautiful thing. When they
that's so
surpass
cool.
the TikTok artist quality, it's
Yeah,
the best.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for coming and chatting with me today. Like, I really appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me.
All right, now everyone, here's my favorite song on the project. Here's Bug's Blood.